Hi. So, on today's vlog and podcast, we're going to talk about how your horse feels your energy and what you can do about it. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but if you've had um, a bad day or you've got to the yard or gone to see your horse and you're feeling on edge or worried sometimes, when you go to see them, your horse can kind of almost mirror your behaviour or just start other unwanted behaviours. And you're just thinking, how can this day get any worse? I'm feeling poo, and now my horse is acting like a wally. Um, or the other way around, if you're having a really, really good day and you've been feeling really happy and you're looking forward to whatever you're going to do with your horse that day, you're just feeling really relaxed. Your horse sometimes just completely melts, and you just think, oh, they're just the best, and they're just really calm and seem really happy and content. Um, so yeah, it's no coincidence that these two things happen when you are either feeling really good or really low, because your horse is just feeding off of your energy. So I just introduced myself. I'm Katie from Align and Advance. I help riders build their confidence and connection with their horses. Um, so today we're going to learn about like how horses feel our energy and emotions and feed off of them, um, why it affects rider confidence and your communication with your horse, and then just simple ways that you can help yourself and your horse feel calmer and a bit more connected. So, um, so we talk about energy and emotion, and some people think that that sounds a little bit fluffy and woo woo, and it's just a bit like, oh, just get on with it and ride your horse. Um, I'm a teeny bit woo woo, but generally I am a get on with it and ride your horse person. But there is actually a science behind it. So horses are prey animals, as we all know, and to survive, their species is incredibly attuned to non-verbal signals and energy shifts around them. Um, this is why horses shouldn't be on their own. They should always be at least with one other horse, or in a herd. And they just pick up on the tiniest little shifts in their environment, um, on like an energetic level. Like sometimes there'll be something going on, like a really loud noise of building work, say, next to a field of horses, and they don't care because that's not, although it's noisy, if it's not like just making them jump, then if it's a constant noise, the energy of that isn't off. You know, it's just a constant hum in the background, and they're completely happy. But it's kind of um, a little bit more under the radar what they can pick up on. There's so much more in tune with energy and feelings than most people are, that we just don't need it anymore to survive. When we're just kind of mooching around our houses, we don't need to be acutely aware of what's going on around us. So whereas they do, they spend all their time outside, hopefully as much time as possible outside anyway. Um, so sometimes when you go to see your horse, you might not be aware that you're holding tension, but your horse is aware. Your horse is acutely aware of any tension that comes their way. Um, so whether it's from you or from other horses in the herd. So it kind of links to, I do equine Reiki as well, and it kind of links to the Reiki principles of the fact that um, energy needs to flow. And um, if you're calm and balanced and open, then the energy is going to flow better and you'll feel happier, and more at ease. Um, so I've seen like nervous riders whose horses mirror their tension. Um, you know, there are certain situations. It might not be riding all the time. There might be certain situations where you're about to embark on a cross country clinic or go into a competition, and your tension levels are high, um, and you go up to your horse and you go to mount, and then all of a sudden they're backing away and backing off from you, and you just think, oh, for God's sake, just stand still. What are you doing? I don't need this on top of the stress of trying to get into this competition. They're doing that because you know, they can feel that tension radiating from you. When you go to a riding school, often riding school horses don't so much pick up on the different energies of their different riders. They usually look to the instructor for their energy, because that's the person they know, that's the person they're most connected with, and they've just got used to these different people being plopped on their back. And then some people go to a riding school, especially kids, good old kids, just jump on and they don't care. But it's just they would look probably more towards the instructor than the person actually on their back. But when it's just you and your horse, and you're heading out to a competition or out on a hack, or going into the school, doing anything really, leading to and from the fields, they're looking to you, and their connection is with you. So if you're tense and you're upset and you're worried, then they're just going to mirror that back and think that there is something to worry about. So yeah, that's kind of how the energy and emotion can affect the two of you. So kind of common scenarios tend to be like, if you've had a really, really stressful day and you go up to your horse and they seem unsettled and they move away from you, the sort of riding nerves in particular situations, your horse becomes like spooky or resistant. You know, sometimes there's a spooky corner of the arena, and you know, you may have experienced a massive spook in that corner, and then unbeknownst to you, every time you go to ride that corner, your body just tenses a bit and just your energy shifts. So it's not always your horse being difficult. They may well just be responding to your energy. Sometimes they are difficult, sometimes they're really difficult, but sometimes they might just be responding to your energy. So it's really good just to kind of check in with yourself. Sometimes we can cause an issue before the horse does, and this can even be, and I find this a lot because my last horse before Toby was mad. He was lovely. I adored him. I absolutely loved him, and he kind of matched my energy at the time. But he was a lot, and at the time it didn't bother me. But looking back now, I think, gosh, I cannot believe the things I did with that horse. And sometimes it's kind of a learnt behaviour. Like, so where we are, we've got some fabulous tracks on the yard that we can ride around, and there's one, and you come down a bit of a hill, and then you turn a corner, and there's just this beautiful long grass straight out ahead of you. And every time I turn that corner, I have to just really regulate my breathing, because Toby turns that corner, doesn't care. He just walks along that straight really nicely. He's walked that straight, he's trotted that straight, and he's cantered that straight. And he's just happy doing whichever one. It's not a worry. My horse before Toby, Alfie, would have turned that corner and exploded at that straight ahead of him. He just would have gone, and I would have had no brakes. And it's really strange, like in my body, as I turn that corner, I look down that beautiful gallop opportunity and I tense up, because I think Toby is just going to shoot off down there. He never does, and he never will. He's such a good boy like that. But yeah, that's from years ago. I haven't had Alfie for, gosh, probably nearly 16 years now, and it's just in there. It's just in my brain, and that didn't necessarily, at the time when I had him, that didn't necessarily make me nervous or anything. But right now, that is like as a woman in her 40s, that's unwanted behaviour. You know, when I was young, I didn't care, but that is unwanted behaviour, and I don't want my kids to go through that either. So, kind of I tense up as I come around that corner, and I have to, before I come up to that corner, I regulate my breathing, I relax my hands, I relax my shoulders, and I just tell myself, like, can you stop being so ridiculous? This is Toby, you're on Toby, and he is brilliant. So yeah, it's funny because sometimes these things just don't leave us. So it may not be um, that the issue is actually even there. It might just be something that you've experienced in the past. You know, if you're heading out to jump a cross country course, and there's a certain element of that course that you've had problems with before, so like your horse has had problems with the water before, or steps or something, you know, obviously you then got to take your time to train through that. But it may not even be that horse. It may have been a horse before that you've had, and you ended up going swimming. So, you know, it can be really hard. So just check in with yourself and see, is this actually a problem? Is this actually a threat? So, yeah, the scenarios of horse riding are vast, that things that can stress you out. So what can you do about it? As I said, when I come to that section with Toby, I check in with myself. I tell myself that I am on Toby, my beautiful family mount, and I make sure I take a huge breath in, and as I'm breathing out, I make sure I relax my neck, my shoulders, my arms. It's not fair to him if I'm sitting there like this and he's done nothing. Poor little love. So I make sure all through my body I try to relax and ground myself. So even though I'm sitting on the horse, I breathe in, and then as I breathe out, I breathe down and imagine the breath going out sort of through my toes, and then just sit deeply into the saddle and sink down, so that I can just feel the relaxation right to the tip of my toes and in my fingertips, and just to calm myself. If there's something that stresses you out, then kind of check in with yourself before entering a potentially tricky situation. So if you're going into the arena and there is a spooky corner that you and your horse get stressed about, go down to the arena. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Before you even go to the arena, stop, take a few deep breaths, and just stand. And outside of the arena, give your horse a little stroke and a fuss. Give yourself a little fuss. Like, just have some time to breathe. And you know, we're all so busy. Sometimes we can shave just 2 to 3 minutes off our riding just to check in and make that ride more enjoyable. So just stand outside, take some good deep grounding breaths before entering the area that you think is a problem, and then walk in. And perhaps even in the arena, don't just go in and jump on. Go in and walk round in hand a few times, do a few of your do a few serpentines, do a few 10-meter circles in hand. Make it interesting, because your horse isn't going to want to just walk around the edge multiple times while you sort your life out. But take deep breaths and check in with yourself. What is making me stressed? Am I tensing up as I get into a certain area of the school? Is he tensing up? Is he really upset by it? Because if he is, then we do need to address this, probably with an instructor. But yeah, just check in with yourself and give yourself some time and a little bit of kindness. So notice where you're holding tension. I hold tension in my jaw and my shoulders a lot. And the shoulders are really, really going to affect the horse, because I'm not going to have nice, soft, gentle hands if my shoulders are kind of tensed. They get to the point sometimes that if there's something going on that I'm upset about, it like almost hurts across here. Every time I go for a massage, the masseuse is like, "Whoa, your shoulders are very, very tense." So, and with your jaw, if you really struggle with a tense jaw, just like wiggle your jaw around a little bit and putting the tongue onto the roof of your mouth. Because obviously you need to keep your tongue out the way of your teeth when you're riding, but just putting your tongue onto the roof of your mouth and just letting your jaw relax. Do a few deep breaths. I know I'm always on about breaths, but I think I might do a whole podcast episode on breathing, because breathing, this is going to sound so obvious, breathing's important. I know breathing's important. We all know breathing's important, but it does more. Breathing correctly does more than we would think. So breathing nice deep breaths. I always imagine a colour. So my special colour is kind of like a turquoise, because it always reminds me of the colour of the sea in the Maldives. Get me? I've only been to the Maldives once. It was my honeymoon, but it was incredible. And I imagine like the breath is turquoise, and then it swirls around the area that I'm trying to relax, and then I breathe the colour out again. So just whatever colour resonates with you, it really doesn't matter. It can help sometimes. Putting a colour to something can help you visualise it. So yeah, if it's in your jaw, your shoulders, wherever, your stomach, just breathe through it and then consciously release it. And also, this is something else that people really go on about, like affirmations, but they really help too. And just the physical act of speaking something nice and kind to yourself and your horse can change your mindset. So it also regulates your breathing, because you're having to breathe as you speak. It gives you something else to concentrate on, and your horse something else to concentrate on, rather than any little noises around. And you should say nice, calm, kind things. You know, I took Toby round one of the tracks the other night, and with my youngest behind on the little pony she rides, and kind of it's you know, it's late autumn now, and I misjudged how dark it would get, how quickly it would get dark. Sorry. And Toby got really nervous, bless him. And the whole time round, I just spoke to him and I just said, because when they tense up and then they start being a little bit silly, it is easy to get cross with them. So the whole way round, I just said to him, "You're such a good boy. We're safe. You're okay," you know, and just spoke to him like a crazy lady all the way round. And then my daughter was chatting to me as well. So even just the noise of us chatting, because obviously Toby does not know what I'm saying, even just the noise of us chatting, and keeping my breath regular, and it kept me relaxed. And yeah, we actually had a really nice time, and he was such a brave boy. I was so proud of him, bless him. So yeah, you could say like, "I'm calm, I'm safe, and you are too," to your horse. And just keep repeating it over and over, just telling them what a good boy or what a good girl they are. Chat any old nonsense. It's absolutely fine, but as long as it's nice, it's not like I'm absolutely pooing myself. You know, none of that. You know, we've got to say positive things here. And then, yeah, you can just, yeah. The other thing I was going to say is just spend a little bit of time on yourself and your horse. Before you even get out to the area that causes you the stress in your riding, spend a little bit of time beforehand just honing in on the connection. So sometimes this is hard to do at a show, because like our last show we went to, we ended up being a little bit late getting there. So then it was like rush, 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 and then get into the ring, and that was not ideal. But if you can get to a show or a clinic or a lesson or an arena hire, or even when you are going to go and ride at home, if you can allow yourself 5 to 10 minutes more just to spend some quiet time, just to check in and kind of run through some of these exercises, then you start on a better foot. Then it's much easier to not go into a stressful situation, not allow yourself to get to a stressful situation, by dealing with it before it happens. So once you're in fight or flight, and once your horse is in fight or flight, especially, it is, you can get back out of it, but it's harder. It's a lot harder. It's much easier to just not get to that point in the first place. So just give yourself the gift of time. So celebrate your achievements as well, and they don't have to be big. They can just be like small moments of kind of calm and interaction and trust. You know, like with the spooky corner of the arena, even if you generally work down one end, because when your instructor's not there, you're nervous to go at that end. If you like walked past it twice in hand one day, you've done it. If you walk past it 4 times in hand the next day, then you've built on that. If you then walk past it mounted, you've built on that. Like, give yourself some credit. That's really good. And it can be like that level for just a spooky corner, or it can be the fact that you went show jumping, and when you tried to jump a treble, the last time your horse ran out in the middle, and now you're going to go and jump a treble in this course, and you're scared. If you get through that, just celebrate it. Even if you end up having a pole down, celebrate it. Just say, gosh, last time that was terrible, and this time we just did so well to get through just that section. Like, don't look at it as a big thing, like, well, we didn't win the class, but so you got over the treble. So I think I mentioned before that I also do equine Reiki or animal Reiki, or Reiki, humans as well, but I prefer animals. You don't have to be a Reiki practitioner to kind of do this yourself a little bit. So what I do at the beginning of a Reiki treatment is that I go into the horse's or animal's space, and I work on my own energy. I put on some calming music. I say hello to the animal, and then I go a little bit away from them, and I work on my own energy and do my own breath work. It just kind of invites the animal in, and then I get to see whether they're interested or not. And 9 out of 10 times the animal will come to me, and they're curious and they want to see what I'm up to. So you can do that yourself. So you can just put on some calming music, and then go and sit or stand in a safe place, not at the door. Don't stand at the door of their stable, but or at the gate of the field. Just go and sit or stand in a safe place, and just start doing some really deep breathing. And like I said about the colours, if you breathe in and then breathe in through your nose and imagine a colour, or you can imagine the breath not with a colour, just drenching you and coming all the way down your body and out of your toes as you exhale. Just kind of doing that for 5 to 10 minutes, it just works wonders. You'll feel amazing afterwards, you really will. But also, so will your horse. So you don't have to go like hands on and full Reiki treatment onto your horse, but just doing that with your horse. Your horses will gradually start to match your breathing patterns, and you'll notice a calmness about them. So, and often, they might do an early release, something like having a wee, or they might just flap their ears to the sides, and just lower their head in just a really relaxed pose. So yeah, give it a try. It's a really nice thing to do. So yeah, just to finish, basically your energy is one of the most powerful tools that you have as a rider. It can just transform your partnership with your horse. If you get on know I mentioned Alfie before, but he was very, very in tune with people's energies. And if the wrong rider got on him with the wrong energy, he would um, let them know that he didn't like their energy. He didn't really enjoy nervous people. His owner before me was more of a nervous person in general. Fantastic rider. She was brilliant, and her other horse that she had was just stunning. But a bit more of a kind of horse that would look after you, whereas Alfie needed you to tell him and look after him. Um, so because she wasn't kind of on the same level as Alfie, where she could kind of guide him, she kind of needed him to look after her. He absolutely did not do that. So they did not get on. But yeah, your energy, it can really, really transform your partnership with your horse. And the more you learn to sort of calm and center your energy, the more that your horse will trust and mirror that calm. You might not get it right the first time, but don't be cross with yourself. Just live and learn. Like there's no point in beating yourself up about it. We're supposed to enjoy this, aren't we? So every now and then, even I slip up. In a situation where you do get really worried. Even I slip up as well, and I just have to kind of take the time to bring myself back. So don't be cross with yourself if you don't get this the first time, and if you don't manage to allow yourself a little bit of time to center yourself and stuff before heading into a show or something, then it's not really like it's not really worth beating yourself up about. Just acknowledge it and try again. So confidence starts with connection. So start with yourself, and then it will transfer to your horse. And yeah, I hope that this helped, and I hope that the next time you go to do something that worries you slightly, or if you're having an off day, I hope that some of the exercises that were mentioned can help make you feel a little bit better. You don't have to even save these for your horse. If you're having an off day, just do the breathing exercises. Think about where your tension is in your jaw and your shoulders, or elsewhere on your body, because it'll just make you feel better all round. So if you'd like to learn more about calming yourself and becoming more of a confident rider, then you're welcome to book a free call with me. I do free 20-minute chats. I'll put a link into the show notes, and if you want more kind of gentle confidence tips, then follow me on Instagram. I am at align.and.advance, but I'll also put a link to that in the show notes too. Thanks so much for watching or listening if you're on the podcast, and I'll speak to you next week. Take care. Bye.